Hi, this is Marie Tucker. I'm a friend of Adita Feltz, and I wanted to welcome you to a real Maine house where we think we have ghosts. I've suspected this for a while, so I asked Adita if she would come in and find out what's happening here. I wrote up a statement about what was happening here to our family and put it in an envelope, and I've sealed it until we have the investigation.
Day 2 of the investigation at Marie Tucker's home. Present are Adita Felt, Hank Mosher, and Marie Tucker. And I have already gone through the space yesterday with Marie. And on day 2, we brought Hank in, specialist for some energetic field areas that I noticed when I was here yesterday. And so he's using his body as a dowsing rod, moving through the sacred space to see what he picks up. Here we have Hank checking out the...
We actually have two zones. There's the downstairs and the upstairs.
Any electrical concerns? Or?
Not that I can see so far.
Okay.
No, it looks really, it's a decent little house and solid and strong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what we've experienced with the energy fields are not a result of the physical structure. They are a result of energy.
So. No, I'd say you got a really nice place here.
This is again, day 2. We're in the studio and bedroom area. With Hank Mosher is doing his go-through.
Quite peaceful, seems like.
Mm-hmm. Are you picking up any energy fields in particular areas?
Not at all. Not that I could. No, not.
He's onto it.
Interesting, though.
Can you say that out loud? What's that feel like?
It's like a double bar through here.
Uh-huh.
Are there any pipes or anything buried under this section?
I don't know.
I wouldn't. Interesting.
I don't think so, actually, because you can see where the water comes in.
Yeah, it's over.
That
You
way.
got regular street water, different than well water. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Now I'm curious. Okay. Something over here. which I didn't pick up by hand. Interesting.
Tell me when you're ready to hear what I...
Is something coming in here diagonally?
Well, what I perceive is that this, it's my perception that what we're feeling here, we open up this, and you feel the energy coming through here in this closet. It's my perception that it's part of that same heavy magnetic energy from the utility room.
Okay.
You don't feel it in the bathroom, but you do feel it here
Interesting.
and in the utility room. And for me, it kind of comes right out about, right about here, it starts to let up, because it's really heavy on my face, chest area. Right here, I begin to step into that energy field. And then I don't feel anything at all until I get over here. And when I get over here, just about here is where I feel a different energy field than that one. But the energy field that's here is almost has a translucency to it. It's almost like I can see into it. It's like it's got a gray, smoky way that you can, like, remember the old stereo covers?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a little lighter than that, but it's more of a bluish gray, and you can see.
It's interesting, because when I first came over here, it was quite distinct, you know. Boom, boom sort of thing as you pass, like 2 bars.
Yeah, and it comes out,
Yeah.
you know, like this far from the wall.
A ways, but not that far.
Yeah. The other thing that I sensed here immediately when I came, okay, so first that magnetic layer, which is somehow aligned with the energy field that's in the utility room, but there doesn't seem to be anything in the bathroom in between, which makes it very interesting. But it feels like the same kind of energy to me. And then there's another layer that goes back here. That's a layer of dead earth. It feels like dead earth to me. It feels like the earth is not fertile, and some chemical has been spilled there or dropped there or whatever, and it's a white chemical that I see, and it's as if the earth, there's a space of dead earth. And so one of the reasons I really wanted to bring you in is because it needs to be rehabilitated.
You're sensitive in such a different way, it's kind of nice.
Pardon?
How is this room so cool and that one so warm?
I'm not sure if the baseboards are not working in here. Maybe they've been turned off.
So that's a really good point, because we would want to rule out whether or not there was a strong shift in the temperature might be caused by the presence of spirits. So that's a good point, Hank. I'm glad you brought that up. A big shift in temperature like that is always something you want to watch out for. Pay attention to.
Okay, the bands on top are pretty well turned closed, but the same water that runs through here runs out the next room too.
Yep. Right.
Although being the corner room, you get an extra side to the weather, so to speak.
So I'm hearing you noticing that the temperature is much different between these two rooms. What else do you, if anything, do you pick up energetically?
Nothing I can really put my hand on.
When I stand in the doorway to this room, I feel conflict. I feel like the energies in the room are in conflict. It feels to me almost as if my face is assaulted with these energies, like little pinpricks and stuff.
I was going to say, when you've got kids and up and through and teenagers.
But only one.
Well,
So could you take
now.
here?
Here now, yes.
There were a lot of other kids in this house before with previous tenants. Would you mind doing your dowsing rods in this room and seeing what you get?
Okay.
saying
Just,
for the viewer?
yeah, I'm looking for significant energy changes or differences that,
In the energy fields?
yeah, energy field that we might want to consider and do something about, or at least just recognize it's there, maybe, if nothing else. These kitty cats are having such a good time.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna compare the hall to,
Okay. Okay. Now I see what you mean.
yeah,
Yeah, as you walk on in,
it
you get
hits.
in a ways, yeah, okay.
So you really can feel, I could really feel a difference between the
All
hall
right.
and walking in, it was like,
Yeah, once you get in here, okay. Yeah. Get enough to compare the difference.
I found the energy, once you step into the space, I found this energy to be very distracting. I found it to be,
How does Jeremy feel about it?
He, you can ask him.
Jeremy, can we get your input about something?
Sure, what?
Okay, we're stepping from out here in the hallway, and Jeremy's a psychic kid, so he's the perfect person to ask about this.
Good.
We're out here, then we're stepping right,
Listen, Jeremy.
I'm listening.
alright. When you move from here to here, when you're standing here, what does it feel like? You're out here, okay, what's it feel like to you here, in your body?
Pretty normal.
Okay, now step in about 3 feet in, yeah, alright, so what does it feel like in there? On your body, in your body.
Feels warmer in here.
It feels warmer, yep, the temperature's warmer, yep. Anything else?
Not really.
Does it feel friendly? Does it feel, like there's a lot of stuff going on in here? Does it feel distracting? Does it feel,
Lighter to heavier energy
lighter
kind
or
of thing?
heavier?
A bit heavier.
You're experiencing it as heavier
Mm-hmm.
than what's out here in the hallway. I
Yes.
experience it that way too. So where on your body does it feel more heavy to you?
Around here.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's feeling it the same way that I'm experiencing it, which means that probably our brains and central nervous systems work similarly. So you're feeling that here. What happens when we go from this, I'm going to move Jeremy, when we go right here, just take a minute to feel what you're feeling in your body, and your face and your chest and stuff. And then, can you describe it?
Well,
Let me
same
get out of
as,
the way.
as over there.
Okay. And then what happens when you come right here? What does it feel like now?
Cold.
Okay, temperature feels a lot colder. What does it feel like on your face and your chest?
Breezy. Breezy.
Breezy?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that a lightness?
I guess so.
Or does it feel like stuff is moving?
Moving.
Moving. It feels like to you like stuff. The word that I use is distracting. It feels like there's stuff moving around, and I'm like, I keep wanting to look to see what's happening here because it's very distracting to me. May I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really hard for you to do homework in this room?
Yes.
Does it feel like that's because you're always feeling stuff going on around you?
Yes.
Okay, so we know that there's energy in this room that's distracting to you. Is it easier to do your homework in the next room?
I've never tried.
So you've tried it in here and it hasn't been very successful.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other rooms in the house where it's easier for you to do it?
Upstairs.
Okay. I have another question for you, Jeremy, if you don't mind. How are you sleeping in this room?
Not very good.
Yeah. So can you describe what that's like?
It's worse in there, but I can't sleep facing that way in this room.
Okay.
But it seems like in that room, I can barely sleep at all.
Yeah. In the room that seems to have most of the activity going on in it.
Mhm.
The most distraction. Is it a certain time of the night that you wake up regularly? Are you having trouble falling asleep? Having trouble when you get up in the morning? Is there a pattern to it?
Well, I've always, excuse me. I've always had trouble falling asleep, since, well, ever.
Okay, so that's been an ongoing pattern for you.
Yeah.
Okay, but are you waking up more during the night than you were before, or staying asleep than you were before you got into this room?
I am sleeping a lot more.
That's good. In this room,
Yes.
but not in this room behind us.
No.
Okay.
He, what he was explaining was that he used to sleep where this pillow is. His head would be there. That's on the other side of that hallway, that stairwell. But he's not finding that working
Well,
or
yeah,
something. So
because
now he sleeps with his head down here.
Feng Shui wise, I can see why that wouldn't work, to have your head on a wall where there's
a lot of
hallway.
in and out.
Yeah, so I can see why that wouldn't work that way. That makes perfect sense to me. But what I was trying to determine was whether or not there's a lot of otherworldly traffic going on here that was keeping him from sleeping. So that's why I was asking. So,
He always has problems sleeping.
all right. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
It's the edge of any detrimental energies.
Yeah. Can you say that out loud?
Yeah, I was gonna say, trying to walk on stairs and get a reliable hold on the rods, but I was asking to show any detrimental energies.
Oh, okay.
I mean, just the edge of, and I get about 3 steps up or so, or 4, and it's wanting to do something.
So you get up about 4 steps, and what happens?
Yeah, right about here, I get a distinct boundary right over the 3rd step. So that's perhaps what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
How far up does it go?
Well, I would say just about the top of the stairs.
Because I think it's a lot more obvious coming from the cellar than it is if you're coming in from the outside front door.
Yeah, yeah, it could well be.
So, do you have a sense about it? Is there anything that you can share about it? And is it connected to any of the other energy fields in the house? Those are the questions I ask myself.
I'm guessing it just sort of goes back and forth. What would happen if he moved his bed totally? Because this goes just right down through the middle of bed, I would say. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing, getting a feel, it goes clear into the farther room.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that, because that's what I was feeling.
And then back, that would go into your sacred room.
In the corner. It's right over here.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
But it doesn't go all the way.
there.
It doesn't seem to go all the way, you know, just listening with my mind, trying to build a picture.
All the way from where to where?
Like
It doesn't go all the way to through that room.
through the room.
To the sacred room,
Yeah.
For a healing space room. Yep.
It pretty well tapers out the other side of the closet wall a little bit. The way the room is built, where the doors are, it doesn't give you a lot of places to shift the bed much.
The bed, yes. So your
I like to
suggestion,
put it right in front of the door.
your
But,
suggestion is that we need to move Jeremy's bed in order for him to have better sleep, because he's right in the middle of the energy field. What about shifting that energy field, though? What about taking that energy field like we did at the at the rink? What about taking that energy field, seeing if it's willing, possible to move it outside of the house so that it no longer disturbs Jeremy's space anymore.
Yeah, because I don't think there's really any way for him to move his bed
That
where
doesn't
it's
seem
not
to
going
be-
to cross that line,
To
no matter
shove
which
it-
way it's.
You'd have to shove it almost up against this wall.
And really,
I think
Jeremy's
the end of it will
comfortableness in
still.
the house was the major reason, I think, for having this investigation. Because he was feeling uncomfortable and things were happening that he wasn't sure what was going on. And
I get the impression that the energy is movable. Let me work on it.
okay.
There's veins of water in the ground and there's veins of energy in the ground.
Right, earth.
And more or less they are where they are, but they can move and go elsewhere.
Right.
And in fact, what I'm discovering over the years, it's amazing to me that they're so willing to do it upon request.
Right.
And if that's the case, we just have to understand it and request it.
Okay.
And
That sounds good. I got residual energy in the bathroom there that needed to be cleared, but it wasn't a negative energy. It was just somebody else's energy in the space.
yeah, oh, I'm picking up that all right. But
The energy field that you feel in my room downstairs comes up right about here in this room, but I don't feel it as strong.
Check that out?
oh, that's a point. Okay, yeah, that's a good point, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Once you go through with a little different velocity.
Say that again. Different velocity?
I guess that's what I said, didn't I?
Well, I think it's a very interesting way of putting it, and so your psyche is telling you something that we need to
Velocity
pay
and,
attention to, so.
and ferocity. That is a point, that last thing you need is an energy of any kind running right up through the middle of a bed. Yeah, definitely, it feels like a mound. You're pushing over a mound. Yeah,
And does it feel like it comes down further on this floor than it did downstairs?
down is in different position.
From that wall, from that end wall, does it come down further?
Down toward you. You mean. I'm not sure exactly where it was downstairs, but it's different, isn't it? I think I'll go get my rods.
I think it is different up here. It feels to me more blended on this floor, as if it, it's almost like it's camouflaged up here. It's more blended or mixed in, where on the floor below, it seems to be more intensified in the amount of space that it takes up. Volume isn't the right word, but if I remember correctly, oh, excuse me, he's using his rods, I don't want to.
You're not disturbing anything.
On the bed. Right there. Now, you described that before as a mound.
Yeah, it just feels like it mounted up a little bit.
right there in that spot.
I think if I was gonna stay up here and sleep in bed, I don't wanna push the bed up against the far wall, because it looks like you've got an energy line running right up through this side. And
Another one?
such a thing would not be very peaceful for the person spending any time there.
Yeah, that's where I slept.
That's what I figured. But I figured I'd want you to say so.
So that energy line would make the placement for sleeping in this room difficult.
Yeah, I would think so.
And there's a
I think
cross
so.
point in my room where this line crosses that line.
That could well be, yeah, that makes sense.
Smart boy, Jeremy.
Yes. Really, it felt like a bit of a lightness, but I'm not picking up anything with the rods, but
It felt to me like it was camouflaged.
that's a good answer.
That up here feels like it's blended in or camouflaged, and that the real place where things happen is downstairs.
That makes sense.
I actually asked Marie how she thought about it. She wanted us to move it or close it, or is it okay where it is? And I guess she's been thinking about that.
Yeah. I'm actually okay with the energy lines, though, concern me about people's well-being, emotional well-being, mental well-being. Because if you're already predisposed to being frantic or fear-based and depressed, these different energy fields are just amplifying it.
It sure would.
Marie, the overwhelming feeling in this part of the house, as we're in the living room area, is agitation. There's sort of a controlled chaos, but there's also a strong sense of agitation here. And you know the difference between that I'm trying to get at? Feels like in this room, in the living room, I think the cat's going after the bird.
Yep.
Controlled chaos. In this room, there's a lot of that feeling of, and this feels like a residual energy to me. It feels like part of the energy, there's more than one layer here. I've got 3 layers of energy here in this room. That means I can feel 3 separate types of energies here in this room. One of them is a person who would have lived in this house who would have had kidney failure. They lived here in this house, and it feels to me as if this person would have been agitated a lot near the end of their life. It feels as if the energy that, or rather the medication that they were taking, kind of sort of numbed them in some way, emotionally numbed them, but in another way, it made them stay focused into like a little circle of a loop of not very helpful thoughts.
Do you feel that person moved on, like that they have since died?
Oh, you're asking me if they're earthbound? No, I don't feel the person is here in this house. It is not an earthbound spirit.
Right.
But such a strong way of feeling for so long has left residual energies
Right.
behind.
I feel it as a residual energy. But I'm wondering if it's the previous tenant
It is someone who lived here
a long time ago
for
that
a
has
number of
since
years.
died. So
Yes,
I
this
think
is
that's-
someone who would have died here.
Okay.
Lived here for a number of years. I get a 20 with this, 20 years
Okay.
with this person. And so this person would have been here for quite a long time. I feel as if they did have kidney problems that did result eventually in their dying. They may even have had gone down to have the kidney blood run through the kid, that whole process in the latter days of the illness. I also believe that person may have contracted a blood disease such as hepatitis, through the process of treatment. So this was a kind of this person had a very complicated medical situation, did live in this house for a long time. I get 20 years with that. Either the person was sick for 20 years before passing or lived here 20 years before passing. It is a female. And she also had gout symptoms, which makes sense because I'm being told that's the uric acid thing. So that makes sense. She would have spent a lot of time in this room, and that's one of the reasons why there's this sort of controlled chaos kind of feeling in here. So that residual stuff needs to be cleared out. It's pretty strong stuff. What it does is it magnifies whatever things are going on in your family in this house. So whatever kinds of things that may not be going perfectly will seem a lot less perfect because it's magnified because of that residual, I would call it, this person constantly saw the world, if you excuse the expression, through shit-colored glasses. Okay, so anyone who lives in this house, that's going to be an issue. They're going to be looking at life with shit-colored glasses.
That's why
depression.
you're here.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right. Until that residual energy is cleared out and cleared out well, that's going to be an issue for anyone who lives here in this house. So those kinds of symptoms, depression, pessimism, a lot of negative thinking, negative feeling, and it also feels like to me that to you that's very frustrating, that you're used to thinking a very positive way and coming at things from a very positive space, but it's sort of like in spite of yourself, you find yourself thinking in a depressed way or a down way a lot. It's like you come up these stairs and you feel depressed, as opposed to how you feel when you're in your bedroom downstairs. So I would ask you to think about that. Does it feel different to you when I'm downstairs at the lower level in my room versus coming up these stairs? And it feels like to me right here, when you come into this room, whoosh, you feel it. So you come up the top of the stairs and right into the living room space, it's almost like it clamps down on you, meaning me. That's how I'm experiencing it. We've got to clear that out of here.
Very good energy, the land does.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fairy energy out here.
That's what it is, okay.
And, but this spring, he dumped cans of paint, old paint, all in this area. And over there, I could see it splattered. So I don't know if he rinsed it with the hoses out there. Because to get rid of paint cans, they got to be empty. But yeah, he had dumped it right on the grass, and it just bothered me so much.
I feel that'll recover all right.
Yeah, okay.
When I've been at the house, everything feels like it's just been like it's full of anger, displeasing. Nothing's right there. That everything has to be fixed, but it never is. That everything is hated.
So basically all I had written was that we moved into this residence in February of 2012. The previous owner, the wife, who had not lived here for about a year due to a separation, and Athena, came and talked to us during the walkthrough, and she was having a really hard time letting go. She was crying and didn't really want to let go of this house, and I think it was more didn't really want to let go of the life that she had had. I sensed a lot of sadness about the loss of the family unit and having to sell the house due to a pending foreclosure. Once in the house, We picked up on a lot of neglectful energy, and it felt like neglect of the house, neglect of the marriage, neglect of the family unit, but that it extended back to other families before then. I felt like it was a recurring pattern in this house. And I felt compelled to talk to the house while I was cleaning it, letting it know that I was here and that I would work to take care of it the best that I could. We smudged, rattled, drummed all through the house, sang, trying to lift the energy and clear out the negativity that was in it. Jeremy did that with me. Sometime in the summer, I started to notice movement of spirits, or what I thought were spirits, in the master bedroom on the upper floor, and to the right in front of the window, like right there.
Where the stereo is now?
Where pretty much, but a little bit forward. It was like it was right at the foot of the bed to the right, and I could almost, when I think about it, I see it as a sphere coming right up there, and I could sense movements, and I could see it like out of the corner of my eye. I'd see shadow movements and flashes of light and stuff. What I had shared with Adita is I felt someone getting into the bed. I could feel someone climbing into the bed. Felt the movements in the bed. I experienced that a couple times. And then once in this living room, sitting in that chair there, which I'm wondering if it's what you're picking up, I got this flash of this little green creature right next to my knee, which is this, outer corner here, near that table, and it was more, it was like a welcome and a hello, and we're happy you're here. It was an elemental, and really cute. So I always feel their presence here a lot. Jeremy has told me that he's seen bright blue orbs in the downstairs hallway. Energy field is. I've been living down in that room for a couple months now, and I'm sensing a lot of movement. I'll sit on my bed and I can see all this movement towards that space. It's like things are coming in, like they're traveling through. And I've seen, one time when I shut off the light, I saw this huge dark figure in the closet area. And then a couple of weeks ago, I thought I saw a black spider run across the side of my bed, but intuitively I knew it wasn't a spider because I don't like spiders, and I would have screamed and jumped. But I knew it was something energetic, and I kept looking anyways, and I saw it like 3 times. Jeremy's mentioned seeing a woman walking around the tree outside, and wanted him to follow her into the woods to see something. But yet, he told me that when he got out there, he felt that there were some other beings out there or something that didn't want him there, that didn't welcome his presence there. So he came back. Jeremy expressed to me earlier today that he feels an energy of neglect in this blue room up here.
The catch-all room?
Yep.
Yeah.
He was here by himself once, and the TV turned on and off a few times.
Oh, that's cute.
By himself, yeah.
Boy.
And he also hears dogs barking when he's inside, and he's like, if I go outside, I don't hear it outside. There's no dogs barking in the neighborhood. I hear it inside. He says that it also sometimes feels like random people are walking through the house. And in the house there is frequently a feeling of frenetic energy, kind of like manic energy, and depression.
And that's up here on this floor, right?
Yeah, and depression. I've experienced a lot of sickness since moving in here. Jeremy frequently has headaches, an upset stomach.
A lot of somatic type of symptoms. Like the body-mind is wanting to get you to pay attention to something that you're not noticing on a logical level. So the body-mind is making you hurt. Trying to get your attention, headaches, stomach aches, stuff like that. You see that a lot, I think, in houses where there are You see that a lot in places where there are earthbound spirits.